What if your body already knows how to burn fat? It's just been switched off by the wrong signals. Imagine that your metabolism isn't broken, it's just confused. For years, many of us have tried to outsmart our biology with restrictive diets, long fasts, or endless cardio, but our bodies are designed for balance, not punishment. When insulin, your body's primary fat storage hormone, stays high for too long, your fat burning switch flips off. It's not willpower failing you, it's biochemistry working against you. Now, researchers are finding that there's a smarter way to unlock that switch. A small shift in how you eat, move, or recover could retrain your body to tap into deep visceral fat, the kind that sits around your organs and drives inflammation. Instead of starving yourself, you work with your hormones to restore rhythm. This could mean changing the timing of your first meal, adding a few minutes of heat exposure, or improving sleep recovery so your insulin sensitivity resets naturally overnight. When you make these changes, you stop forcing fat loss and start allowing it. You're no longer fighting hunger, fatigue, or cravings. Your body begins to burn stored fat automatically because the signals align. It's like remembering a language. Your body already knew how to create steady energy, stable blood sugar, and a calm mind without the crash of extreme fasting or low carb stress. And this isn't about quick fixes. It's about tuning back into the biological patterns that kept humans lean and energetic long before diets existed. That's where the real transformation starts, not in restriction, but in rhythm. I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever tried fasting or other fat loss methods before? What's been your biggest challenge with sticking to them? Share in the comments. I read every one. Most people think of fat as the soft layer under their skin, the stuff you can pinch on your belly or thighs. But the real problem isn't the fat you can see. It's the fat you can't asterisk. Deep inside your abdominal cavity, surrounding your liver, pancreas, and intestines, lives a hidden layer called visceral fat . This fat isn't just a passive energy reserve, it's metabolically active, almost like its own secret organ. It releases inflammatory chemicals, disrupts hormones, and sends false hunger and stress signals to your brain. You can think of visceral fat as the toxic roommate, living in your body's core. It doesn't just take up space, it talks back. It constantly whispers to your hormones, saying, store more fat. Raise more insulin, hold onto energy just in case. Over time, this inner dialogue traps your metabolism in survival mode. Even if you cut calories or fast for days, your body still feels unsafe. It believes it's starving, so it resists fat loss to protect itself. Visceral fat forms when your insulin levels stay elevated for too long. Every time you snack frequently, eat late at night, or live under constant stress, insulin rises. When insulin is high, your body gets the message: store energy, don't burn it. Over time, that stored energy builds up around your organs, forming this deep, stubborn layer of fat. What makes it especially tricky is that visceral fat cells are more insulin resistant than regular fat cells. That means they need even more insulin to respond, creating a vicious cycle. High insulin makes more visceral fat, and visceral fat keeps insulin high. This is why traditional diets often fail in the long term. When you slash calories or skip meals without addressing insulin balance, your body doesn't actually heal the root problem. Instead, it slows your metabolism to conserve energy. You might lose a few pounds at first, mostly water and muscle, but the moment you eat normally again, insulin spikes and the visceral fat creeps back. It's like trying to mop up a flooded floor without turning off the faucet. The source of the problem, hormonal imbalance, is still running. Visceral fat is also deeply connected to stress. When your body feels under threat, it releases cortisol, the main stress hormone. Cortisol tells your body to hold onto energy and store more fat in the belly area. From an evolutionary perspective, this made sense during times of danger or scarcity. Storing energy around vital organs helped humans survive. But in modern life, we're constantly triggering this system through psychological stress, poor sleep, and overexposure to blue light. We've trained our bodies to act like we're always in crisis mode. One of the most dangerous things about visceral fat is how it communicates with your body's entire network. It's not silent, it's inflammatory. It releases cytokines, small proteins that interfere with how insulin works, how your liver processes sugar, and even how your brain regulates appetite. That's why people with more visceral fat often struggle with fatigue, sugar cravings, or brain fog. It's not just physical weight, it's chemical confusion. Now, imagine your metabolism as a traffic system. In a healthy state, the signals insulin, cortisol, leptin are like green lights, allowing energy to flow freely in and out of fat cells. But when visceral fat builds up, it's like there's a traffic jam in the middle of the city. Insulin can't deliver nutrients properly. Cortisol keeps sending mixed signals, and your liver gets overwhelmed. No matter how much you try to drive faster, by dieting harder or exercising more, the traffic doesn't move until you fix the signals controlling it. That's why approaches like calorie restriction or extreme fasting only scratch the surface. They reduce incoming fuel but don't clear the traffic jam. Once you eat again, your body, still in panic mode, stores that fuel as quickly as possible. You might even gain back more weight than before because your metabolism is now slower. The key to unlocking visceral fat isn't about eating less. It's about restoring communication between your hormones and your fat cells. When insulin becomes sensitive again, cortisol calms down and your body starts to trust that it's safe to burn energy. That's when the deep fat, the stuff that once clung to your organs, begins to melt naturally. It's not about deprivation, it's about alignment. Visceral fat didn't appear overnight, and it won't disappear through quick fixes. But when you work with your body's natural rhythm instead of against it through timing, temperature, and recovery, you retrain it to function the way it was meant to. You restore not just a leaner body, but a calmer, more stable system where energy flows freely again. Your body was designed with a beautiful system of balance. It knows when to store energy and when to release it. The hormone that manages this process is insulin, a powerful messenger that tells your cells what to do with the food you eat. When insulin works the way it's supposed to, your body easily shifts between burning sugar for quick energy and tapping into stored fat when you need fuel. But when that system becomes overloaded, the balance breaks and your body ends up trapped in fat storage mode. Insulin's job is simple. After you eat, it helps move glucose, the sugar from your meal, out of your blood and into your cells, where it can be used for energy. Any extra energy that's not immediately needed gets stored as fat. That's normal and healthy. The problem starts when insulin is called into action too often. Every time you eat, especially foods high in refined carbs or sugar, insulin spikes. When this happens several times a day, your cells eventually stop responding properly. They become resistant to insulin's signal, like a doorbell that's been pressed too many times and no longer rings. When your cells become insulin resistant, the body tries to compensate by releasing more insulin to get the same job done. But high insulin levels send one clear message to your metabolism: store energy, don't burn fat. As long as insulin is elevated, your fat cells stay locked. They literally cannot release stored fat for energy. This is why people often feel tired, hungry, and sluggish even when they're eating less. Their bodies are surrounded by stored energy, but the doors to access it are shut tight. Think of it like having a house full of firewood, but a broken fireplace. You have plenty of fuel, but you can't use it to create warmth. So instead, you keep going outside to gather more wood, more food, even though what you need is already right there. That's what insulin resistance does. It traps your energy inside your fat cells and forces your body to depend on quick sugar hits to keep going. And here's where it gets tricky when insulin resistance sets in. Fasting or cutting calories often makes things worse, at least in the beginning. You might think that skipping meals will force your body to burn fat, but if insulin levels are still high or your cells are too resistant, the fat remains locked away. The body senses a lack of incoming fuel, panics, and slows your metabolism to conserve energy. Your thyroid output drops, your stress hormones rise, and cravings for quick carbs intensify. Instead of burning fat, your body holds on to it even tighter. Over time, this cycle can feel defeating, like you're doing everything right, but still not seeing progress. You fast longer, eat less, maybe cut carbs even more, yet your energy crashes and your weight plateaus. The truth is, the body won't let go of stored fat until it feels safe and balanced. And safety, on a biochemical level, means insulin sensitivity. When insulin sensitivity improves, something almost magical happens. Your body begins to trust that it can release stored energy without running out. Blood sugar stabilizes, your hunger cues normalize, and fat burning becomes automatic, not forced. You no longer need to rely on extreme fasting or punishing workouts because your metabolism is flexible again. You can go hours without feeling shaky or ravenous, not because you're depriving yourself, but because your body is finally working efficiently. It's important to understand that insulin resistance doesn't develop overnight. It builds up slowly through small, consistent habits. Frequent snacking, eating late, chronic stress, poor sleep, and constant exposure to sugary or processed foods keep insulin elevated day and night. Even healthy foods eaten too often or too close together can create the same hormonal noise. The goal isn't to eat less, it's to eat smarter to give your body breaks between insulin spikes so it can reset and learn how to burn again. Balancing insulin naturally doesn't mean you have to eliminate all carbs or live in restriction. It's about timing and rhythm eating when your body truly needs fuel, allowing insulin to drop between meals, and supporting recovery so your cells can listen to insulin again. Small changes like extending the gap between meals, getting morning sunlight, prioritizing sleep, and managing stress hormones can make a huge difference. When insulin finally quiets down, your body starts unlocking its own energy reserves. You notice steady energy throughout the day, mental clarity returns, and fat begins to melt from areas that never used to budge, especially around the belly. What once felt like a stubborn problem suddenly feels effortless because you're no longer fighting against your biology. You're working with it. Your body isn't broken, it's been protecting you. Once insulin resistance reverses, that protection becomes power. The energy that was locked away inside your fat cells becomes available again, fueling not just your metabolism, but your sense of vitality and focus. And that's the real secret. Fat loss doesn't begin with restriction. It begins when your body feels safe enough to let go. Fasting has been praised as the ultimate fat loss short. Skip food, drop calories, and force your body to burn fat. On the surface, it sounds logical. Less food should equal less fat, but the human body isn't a simple equation. It's a living, adaptive system that constantly adjusts to protect you from perceived threats, including starvation. That's why fasting can seem to work at first, but then quietly backfires, slowing metabolism, spiking stress hormones, and ultimately locking fat in even tighter once you start eating again. When you fast, your insulin levels drop, and your body begins to access stored energy for fuel. In the short term, that's a good thing. It can help reset blood sugar, reduce inflammation, and kickstart fat burning. But if fasting becomes extreme or too frequent, your body interprets it as a stress signal. The brain doesn't know you're doing it intentionally for weight loss, it just senses food scarcity. In response, your adrenal glands release cortisol, the main stress hormone, to keep you alert and preserve energy. And while a little cortisol helps you function under pressure, too much of it over time tells your body to conserve, not release, fat. Cortisol and insulin are tightly connected. When cortisol rises, your body releases glucose into the bloodstream to give you quick energy to survive. This sudden glucose spike pushes insulin back up, and just like that, your fat burning switch flips off again. So even though fasting temporarily lowers insulin, chronic fasting can create rebound spikes that trap you in the same cycle of storage you were trying to escape. It's like slamming on the brakes and hitting the gas at the same time. Your metabolism doesn't know which direction to go. Studies show that long-term calorie restriction can reduce your resting metabolic rate by as much as 20%. That means your body burns fewer calories even when you're resting, simply to protect you from what it perceives as famine. This is why people who fast aggressively often find that their progress stalls after a few weeks. At first, they drop water weight and some fat, but then energy plummets, hunger surges, and the weight creeps back once normal eating resumes. Your body is trying to survive. It slows thyroid activity, reduces reproductive hormones, and increases appetite, regulating hormones like ghrelin, the one that tells your brain you're starving. That's also why so many people experience rebound, fat gain after fasting. Once they start eating again, their metabolism is slower, their insulin response is heightened, and the body rushes to store any incoming calories as fat, especially visceral fat. From a survival perspective, this makes perfect sense. The body doesn't trust that food will stay available, so it prioritizes safety by padding vital organs with energy reserves. Unfortunately, that safety mechanism becomes the very thing that blocks long-term fat loss. The truth is, fasting by itself only addresses the asterisk symptom asterisk of the problem, excess calorie intake, without healing the asterisk cause asterisk, which is hormonal imbalance. Fat loss isn't about simply removing food, it's about restoring the body's ability to manage energy properly. When insulin, cortisol, thyroid, and leptin are in sync, your metabolism becomes flexible. You can go a few hours without food because your body naturally shifts to burning stored fat, not because it's forced to. That's the missing metabolic piece most fasting plans ignore. The visceral fat hack works differently. Instead of pushing your body into stress, it nudges it back into balance. The goal isn't starvation, it's synchronization. You can still give your body periods of rest between meals, but you support it with the right signals: hydration, nutrient, dense foods, recovery sleep, and small thermal or timing based tweaks that retrain insulin sensitivity. This keeps cortisol low, metabolism steady, and energy flowing. You burn fat not because you're depriving yourself, but because your body feels asterisk safe enough asterisk to release it. When you work with your biology instead of against it, fat loss stops feeling like punishment. Imagine waking up without sugar cravings, having stable energy throughout the day, and eating satisfying meals without guilt or fear of breaking your fast. That's what happens when your hormones start cooperating again. You're no longer depending on willpower, your body naturally chooses fat as fuel. Fasting can still have a place, but only when it's balanced and intentional, when your body is metabolically ready for it. Think of it like exercise. Too much too soon can cause injury, but the right amount at the right time builds strength. The visceral fat hack focuses on restoring that readiness. By healing insulin resistance and stabilizing stress hormones first, you make fasting or any eating window actually asterisk work asterisk instead of backfiring. Sustainable fat loss doesn't come from fighting hunger or chasing short-term drops on the scale. It comes from reteaching your metabolism how to trust itself. When you stop forcing and start aligning when your body finally feels nourished, Not deprived, it stops clinging to fat for safety. That's when transformation becomes effortless and fat burning becomes a natural part of how your body operates every single day. Your body is not a machine that simply burns calories. It's a living, adaptive system designed to maintain balance and protect you. Deep inside that system lies a powerful process called thermogenesis, the conversion of stored fat into heat and usable energy. It's one of the body's natural survival tools, and when it's working properly, you can literally burn fat to stay warm and energized. The visceral fat hack focuses on gently reigniting this natural system, not through harsh restriction or extreme exercise, but by aligning your body's internal rhythm through timing, temperature, and nourishment. Thermogenesis happens in your mitochondria, the energy factories inside every cell. Think of them as tiny furnaces that take in nutrients and oxygen and convert them into ATP, your body's energy currency. When these furnaces are efficient, your metabolism hums quietly in the background, keeping you warm, alert, and energized. But when insulin resistance or chronic stress dulls their activity, the flame weakens. Instead of converting stored fat into energy, your body starts hoarding it. The visceral fat hack's goal is to rekindle that flame naturally, to teach your body to trust that it's safe to burn again. One of the simplest ways to reignite thermogenesis is through nutrient timing when you eat, not just what you eat. Your body's circadian rhythm governs everything from hormone release to energy use. When you eat in sync with daylight earlier in the day rather than late at night, you align insulin and cortisol with their natural peaks. Insulin sensitivity is highest in the morning and early afternoon, meaning your body can use food for energy instead of storing it as fat. Eating late, on the other hand, when insulin sensitivity drops, sends excess glucose straight into fat storage. By shifting your eating window slightly earlier, you allow insulin to drop naturally at night, giving your body permission to access stored fat during rest and recovery. The second piece of the puzzle is thermal activation using mild changes in temperature to awaken your body's brown fat. Unlike white fat, which stores energy, brown fat burns it to produce heat. It's rich in mitochondria, which give it that darker color. Simple habits like a few minutes of cold exposure, a cool shower, a brisk morning walk, or sleeping in a slightly cooler room can signal your brown fat to turn on. This doesn't have to be extreme. Even a 10% drop in temperature can make your body work harder to maintain warmth, subtly increasing daily calorie expenditure. It's a gentle, steady burn that supports fat loss without stress. Interestingly, warmth can also play a role, alternating between mild, cold, and gentle heat exposure. For example, finishing a shower with cold water and then wrapping yourself warmly trains your metabolism to stay flexible. This flexibility helps balance the autonomic nervous system, reducing stress hormones like cortisol while improving insulin response. Over time, your body becomes more efficient at switching between fuel sources, burning fat when needed instead of clinging to it. Food pairing is another subtle but powerful way to enhance thermogenesis. When you combine certain nutrients together, you can influence how your metabolism processes them. For instance, pairing protein with fiber slows digestion and stabilizes blood sugar, reducing insulin spikes. Adding a bit of healthy fat like avocado, olive oil, or nuts keeps energy steady and increases the thermic effect of food, meaning your body uses more calories to digest it. Even something as simple as adding cinnamon to a meal can increase glucose metabolism and improve insulin sensitivity. Small adjustments like these compound over time. Each meal, each temperature shift, each night of good sleep sends a signal to your body: you are safe, you can release energy. And when your body feels safe, it stops hoarding fat and starts using it. This is where the science of physiology meets the art of self-regulation. You're not forcing your body to burn fat, you're inviting it. When people hear thermogenesis, they often imagine some extreme biohack ice baths, intense fasting, or specialized supplements. But the truth is, your body already knows how to do this on its own. What shuts it down is chronic stress, poor sleep, irregular eating patterns, and constant insulin spikes. By restoring rhythm, consistent meal times, balanced nutrient pairings, mild temperature changes, you rebuild the trust your body needs to access stored energy again. The best part about reigniting thermogenesis this way is that it doesn't feel like effort. You're not pushing harder or restricting more. You're simply tuning into signals that your body has always had ancient mechanisms meant to keep you alive and balanced. When you bring these systems back online, something shifts, energy rises, your mood stabilizes, and fat begins to melt from areas that once seemed untouchable, like deep visceral fat. This is what makes the visceral fat hack different from traditional fat loss methods. It's not about punishment or control, it's about cooperation. You're not forcing your body into submission, you're partnering with it. When you align timing, temperature, and nourishment, thermogenesis becomes effortless. Your body starts burning fat not because it's being starved, but because it finally remembers how. You don't have to overhaul your entire lifestyle to make this work. Real change comes from small, intentional shifts that you can actually sustain, the kind that send calm, consistent messages to your body that it's safe, nourished, and ready to burn fat again. The visceral fat hack isn't about doing more, it's about doing things smarter. By adjusting when you eat, what you combine, and how you recover, you start retraining your metabolism to run the way it was designed to: steady, flexible, and efficient. Let's start with timing, because when you eat can be just as powerful as what you eat. Your body's hormones follow a natural rhythm. Cortisol rises in the morning to wake you up, and insulin sensitivity peaks earlier in the day. That's your window for your most nourishing meals. Try to eat your first meal within 1 to 2 hours after waking, ideally when you're starting to feel naturally hungry. Make it balanced protein, healthy fat, and fiber to keep blood sugar stable. Then, give your body at least 3 to 4 hours between meals with no snacking. This space is crucial. It gives insulin time to drop so your body can switch from storing energy to burning it. If you enjoy fasting, you don't need to push for extreme windows like 20, 4, or 18, 6. Instead, aim for something sustainable, maybe a gentle 12 to 14-hour overnight fast. For example, if you finish dinner by 7 p.m., have your first meal around 8 or 9 the next morning. This aligns with your circadian rhythm and helps your body tap into fat stores during sleep, when recovery and repair naturally occur. The goal is to create balance, not deprivation. You're teaching your body to trust that food is always coming, so it doesn't need to hold on to fat for safety. Now, let's talk about what to eat and, more importantly, what to pair together. The key is to combine foods that stabilize insulin and promote thermogenesis. Start each meal with protein: eggs, fish, lean meat, or plant-based sources like lentils or tofu. Pair it with fiber-rich vegetables or whole grains to slow digestion and reduce glucose spikes. Add a source of healthy fat like avocado, nuts, olive oil, or seeds to support hormones and keep you full longer. This combination signals to your brain and metabolism that energy is steady, no need to panic or store. Even simple tweaks make a difference. Having a small handful of protein before a carb-heavy meal, like chicken or a boiled egg, can lower the insulin response dramatically. Replacing late night snacks with herbal tea or a warm magnesium drink helps your body transition into rest mode. And something as gentle as adding cinnamon or apple cider vinegar to a meal can improve insulin sensitivity over time. These little actions don't feel restrictive, but they carry long-term power because they teach your body how to handle energy efficiently. Rest and recovery are often the missing pieces in fat loss. When you sleep well, your insulin sensitivity improves, cortisol drops, and growth hormone rises, all signals that tell your body it's safe to burn fat instead of store it. Aim for 7 to 8 hours of sleep in a dark, cool room, ideally going to bed around the same time each night. If stress keeps you up, try grounding techniques, slow breathing, stretching, or journaling before bed. The calmer your nervous system, the more responsive your metabolism becomes. Remember, your body can't heal or burn fat when it's in fight or flight mode. Movement also supports the hack, but not in the way most people think. You don't have to do exhausting workouts every day. Gentle, consistent activity, walking after meals, light resistance training, or yoga improves insulin sensitivity and helps muscles absorb glucose more efficiently. Even standing up or taking short movement breaks during long sitting periods can make a difference. Think of movement as communication with your body, not punishment. Every step tells your metabolism, we're active, we're safe, we can use energy freely. Progress, not perfection, is the goal. You don't need to hit every habit perfectly every day. Maybe you start by adjusting your meal timing for a week, then add one balanced meal pattern, and later, work on improving sleep. Each small change sends a ripple effect through your hormones, helping your body remember what balance feels like. When that happens, fat loss stops being a struggle, it becomes a side effect of health. This process isn't about fighting your body, it's about rebuilding trust with it. When you feed it nourishing foods, give it time to rest, and allow insulin to drop naturally, your body responds with energy, clarity, and calm. You'll start to feel lighter not just in your body, but in your mood and focus too. The most powerful part of this approach is realizing that you're not fixing something broken, you're reconnecting with the wisdom your body always had. Small steps done consistently are what create lasting transformation. The real magic happens when you stop chasing quick fixes and start healing your metabolism from the inside out. Fat loss isn't just about shrinking your body, it's about rebalancing how your body communicates with itself. When insulin levels stabilize, when stress hormones calm down, and when thermogenesis is reactivated, your body begins to function as it was designed to: efficient, calm, and self-regulating. This is what long-term metabolic healing looks like. It's not a temporary drop in weight followed by rebound gain. It's a steady return to balance that feels effortless because it's built on trust, not deprivation. At the core of this healing is insulin sensitivity. Once your cells begin responding properly to insulin again, your body can finally use stored fat as fuel instead of clinging to it. This single shift changes everything. Your energy becomes more stable, your hunger less demanding, and your mood more even throughout the day. Instead of feeling trapped in cycles of cravings and fatigue, you feel fueled and focused. The fog lifts because your brain is finally getting a steady, clean energy supply from fat, not erratic sugar spikes. Over time, this balance rewires your metabolism. Your body learns that it doesn't need to hoard fat for survival because energy is always available when needed. Cortisol, your main stress hormone, drops as your system no longer feels under threat. With less cortisol, inflammation decreases, sleep deepens, and recovery improves. Each of these elements reinforces the next. This is why people who focus on healing hormones, not just cutting calories, often describe feeling lighter even before major weight loss occurs. It's their internal chemistry realigning. Thermogenesis also becomes more active as the body heals. When your mitochondria regain their efficiency, they convert more of the food you eat into heat and energy instead of storage. You feel warmer, more alert, and more alive. This doesn't require extreme habits, just consistent, balanced signals that tell your body it's safe to stay active and open. Even small daily routines like eating at regular times, maintaining hydration, moving gently, and getting quality sleep continue to reinforce this metabolic rhythm. Over time, this rhythm becomes automatic, and fat burning happens quietly in the background without effort or stress. As the body systems synchronize, you start to notice subtle but powerful changes. Food cravings fade because your brain's reward centers are no longer hijacked by blood sugar swings. Afternoon crashes become rare. You can go longer between meals without feeling anxious or tired. Your digestion improves, your skin clears, and your overall sense of well-being rises. These are all signs of a metabolism that's not just burning fat, it's healing. The body is no longer in crisis, it's in flow. The best part of this process is that it creates a self-sustaining cycle. The more balanced your hormones become, the more efficient your metabolism gets, and the easier it becomes to maintain results without strict rules. You don't have to constantly monitor your calories or fear missing a workout. Your body's rhythm starts guiding you naturally. You feel when you're truly hungry and when you've had enough. You rest when you need it, and you move when your energy rises. This is metabolic freedom, when you stop forcing and start listening. What's remarkable is how this internal balance translates into emotional and mental stability. Because insulin and cortisol affect neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, hormonal balance also means improved mood and clearer thinking. Many people notice they feel calmer, more patient, and less reactive when their blood sugar stabilizes. You start making choices from clarity rather than urgency. Fat loss, at that point, becomes a reflection of inner balance rather than a battle to be won. And that's the ultimate goal, not just to lose fat, but to feel empowered in your body again. To wake up energized, confident, and at peace with your routine. Healing your metabolism is about creating an environment where your body feels safe enough to do what it's always wanted to do: thrive. When you nurture it with consistent sleep, mindful eating, balanced nutrition, and gentle movement, your physiology rewards you with effortless energy and sustainable health. Long-term results come from rhythm, not rigidity. It's not about perfection, it's about alignment. Every balanced meal, every deep night of sleep, every calm breath is a vote for healing. Over time, these small, consistent actions accumulate into something powerful, a metabolism that works *for you, not against you. You begin to realize that your body has never been your enemy. It was only trying to protect you. Once you restore trust and balance, it responds with vitality and ease. When you work with your body's rhythm, fat loss stops being a fight. It becomes a natural outcome of balance and consistency.